Take a closer look at this. Let's bring in Saruhan Hatipoglu. He's CGTN's global economics analyst and the CEO of Berry. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Rachelle.
So let's start with your reaction to the Trump-Erdogan meeting. What was your takeaway?
Well, I saw today an astute and assertive President Erdogan. I wasn't expecting it that much because he brought up issues that were quite sensitive that I thought would be discussed behind closed doors, but not necessarily in front of the press. One of those issues was the YPG, with the Kurdish issue, with the extension of the PKK as Turkey sees it. And also Fethullah Gülen, Fetho terror organization, President Erdogan was very assertive about it. He mentioned that the leader actually lives in the United States, is living in this country in front of President Trump. Things that I didn't expect that I would see, yeah, behind closed doors, yes. On the other hand, I saw a pretty soft President Trump. He hasn't mentioned any of the issues or his angry tweets that he had against Turkey the past month or so. We haven't witnessed that. So overall, I think it was a success for the Turkish president.
So then why do you think that Trump extended this invitation at this time? And what are both men really hoping to get out of this very public forum?
Well, that's a good question. I have a theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that there are two things. For the U.S. part, Washington has been seeing a steady shift of Turkish foreign policy going towards East. Turkey is a NATO member, but its policies in the past year or two has pretty much put it on the side of Russia. And I think that is something that I know is of concern to the State Department, but overall in Washington, that is something that is of concern. So that was the U.S. side. From the Turkish side, I believe President Erdogan and his supporters in Turkey, as well as the government, realizes the change in sentiment in the U.S. Congress. We have seen that with the sanctions that have passed. We have seen that as we heard on the Armenian genocide issue. So President Erdogan thought that this was a good time, and it's strategically a very calculated time to be here, to be standing side by side with the President of the United States, saying that, look, we're your ally, we're here, and let's talk business.
And as you mentioned, Congress really taking a very different view on this relationship with Turkey ever since the decision the president made to withdraw troops out of northeastern Syria. And Congress is preparing more possible sanctions against Turkey. What's the likelihood that we'll see those come into place?
I think we're going to see significant sanctions against Turkey. I don't know when it is going to be. It could be as early as 2020. The reason I'm saying that is I see this on a daily basis when I talk to staffers or even people who are familiar with the politics in Washington. The sentiment is changing towards Turkey, or against Turkey, I should say. And really, truly, the only friend that Turkey has in the United States is President Trump. And we don't know what's going to happen, not necessarily impeachment proceedings and what would happen to that, but in 4 years, or 5 years, President Trump is not going to be here. And it is Democratic and Republicans alike that are showing a lot of negative response to what Turkey has done in Syria, as well as other issues. So I believe that Congress already passed it, the House has already passed it, and the Republicans in the Senate are holding it just because they're giving some maneuvering room to President Trump to negotiate with Turkey. But that could also change pretty easily. So I do see significant sanctions on Halkbank issue, on the S-400 issue, and I think we're going to see it sooner than later.
That's certainly one of the few bipartisan issues that we're able to see in U.S. Congress. Looking more closely at Turkey's economy, we're seeing that the IMF believes that the country's economic challenges really can be resolved domestically. Do you agree? And what would you say are their biggest challenges?
Biggest challenge is actually getting the growth to the domestic sector of the economy, because Turkey has been dependent on foreign financing for too long. And it's not only AK Party era, even before the party came 16 years ago, it was always foreign financing. Structural reforms are still needed very much in Turkey. There are some positive developments. We've seen the inflation for a long time period going down to 9%, 9 and 3% in September, which has been in double digits for a long time. There are some measures that are boosting growth. I'm still worried about it because I listened to the economic program and it is talking about 5% growth, but we don't know how it's going to happen. There's nothing in the domestic sector that tells me that a growth of 5%, steady 5%, can be obtained 3 years, which the government is claiming it will be. I think it's going to be, again, credit pinch. I think it's going to be, again, foreign financing, and that is going to exacerbate excesses in the economy, such as the current account deficit and so on and so forth. So I'm not sure. The plan is good, but I don't know how Turkey is going to get there.
All right, well, thank you so much.